From the heart of America, where hard work, freedom, and faith still define who we are. From the farms to the factories, from small towns to city streets, this is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
Welcome to it as we kick off another brand new action-packed day, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Making sure you have the right person to be shoulder to shoulder with when it matters most. Who do you want in your foxhole? Let's get rolling today. A big day. Lots to cover. Three big things, starting with this. Number one, President Trump giving his endorsement in the pivotal Senate race in New Hampshire to former Senator John Sununu, whom he called an America First patriot. Number two, Costa Rica elected a pro-Trump right-wing president, echoing her counterparts in Argentina, Chile, Honduras, and elsewhere. The Western Hemisphere is turning to America and our president while rejecting leftists. And number three, speaking of leftists, Democrats still using Nazi name-calling rhetoric to demonize our federal government. The latest being Pennsylvania District Attorney Larry Krasner. He's in Philadelphia. He made this absurd threat against our federal agents recently. If you didn't hear it, you should. Listen.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities, we will find you, we will achieve justice.
He's going to attack federal agents. Krasner doesn't give a crap about justice in Philadelphia. He's earned the name Let Him Go Larry because he's so lenient on actual crime and criminals. I mean, he is among the radical DAs backed by George Soros to obtain such an office in the first place. So what would you expect? George Soros pumped in $1.5 million into Krasner's run for office, all to elect a guy who only prosecutes about 30% of violent crime. That's right, 30% of violent crime. That's it. So while Larry Krasner lets off the actual criminals, he just issued a death wish on all ICE agents and operations in Philadelphia. And he knows it. Krasner and the rest of those just like him know exactly what they're doing. They're riling up the radicals to do the dirty work for them, fighting Trump and his objectives. They don't care who gets hurt in the process. They're undermining America. That's the point. This is an unprecedented level of hate being thrown toward our ICE agents, especially by an elected official. But I got to tip my hat to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He doesn't agree with me on probably much of anything, but at least he had the integrity to call Krasner's comments for what they are. Here he is.
What's your take on that?
That kind of rhetoric is unacceptable, it is abhorrent, and it is wrong. Period. Hard stop. End of sentence. I think what we need, and I've called for this in Minnesota, and I practice this in Pennsylvania, is we need to bring down the rhetoric, bring down the temperature, and create calm in the community.
I'd like to see Governor Shapiro do more to bring that kind of rhetoric down, but that's a start. And it should be no brainer for every sensible Democrat to do the very same thing. Of course, we're not seeing that at all. It's no longer a conspiracy theory that elected officials are a part of the signal chats that have been used to orchestrate the violence and chaos against ICE in Minnesota that was just mentioned there by the governor. In fact, the Minneapolis Teachers Union chief has probably declared that fact for all to hear. Here it is.
The notion that people that are actively engaged in ICE Watch, in being vigilant in protecting our neighbors, in signal chat groups, running plates in their cars, doing patrols, that somehow we're ashamed of that activity, that somehow you could call our bosses or show our faces and then we would be shunned by our community. Our bosses are in the signal chats with us.
Our bosses are in the signal chats with us. She's loud and proud about it. There really should be consequences for that kind of behavior by public officials targeting law enforcement. Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 372 makes it a federal crime for two or more people to conspire to prevent, by force, intimidation, or threat any U.S. officer from performing his or her duties, which is exactly what I would argue is happening in those signal chats. In Title 8, Section 1324 makes it illegal to harbor, shield, or conceal any illegal alien, which is the express purpose of all these people who say they're out protecting their neighbors. The only neighbor that ICE is going after is the illegal alien criminal. Why would you want that person as your neighbor in the first place? I can assure you I wouldn't. You know who doesn't have illegal aliens as neighbors? The Hollywood elites, of course, who showed up at the Grammys this last weekend with their ICE out pins, pretending to show their support for a cause that they're not doing anything meaningful about. It's just virtue signaling. You know that. These people are protected from the ugly consequences of illegal immigration, but they're all out about supporting the protesters who want to stupidly risk their lives assaulting federal agents in the name of preserving illegal aliens and immigration. For example, here's the acceptance speech that music artist Billie Eilish made. Listen to this.
No one is illegal on stolen land. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really
I would just shut up.
hopeful
right
in this
I'm done
room,
with
and
that.
I feel.
First of all, how can land be stolen if borders don't exist like you want? Of course, that doesn't make any sense, but look, she's not that bright. Second, she's a multi-millionaire worth about $50 million net worth. Private security 24 hours a day. But she wants to deny basic security to you and the rest of America who can't afford to have a bodyguard trail them at all times of the day. Here's the gate to Billie's $14 million home in Glendale. Walls for me, not for thee. That's what it looks like. Big walls. You can't even see the house from the road at any angle. Why doesn't she offer to house illegal aliens in her home? It's $14 million. I think it's 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms. Man, she could put a whole herd of people in there. Let them live in the garage, the outbuildings. It'd be spectacular. Better yet, why doesn't she just donate her home to the Tongva tribe, the natives who lived in Glendale before Spain and Mexico colonized that area? I bet the Tongva people really appreciate it. She won't do either of those things, of course. Why? She doesn't believe any of that garbage she's saying. She just wants to be accepted by the elite crowd. It's called virtue signaling again. I want you to know what I was encouraged by the very few amount of celebrities who don't care about that anymore, who have other messages to offer, even if it means they're not as popular as her. Here's sports broadcaster Emily Austin's reaction to the ICE out hysteria. Listen.
Standing ovation for ICE out. I'm going to sit down. You should all be ashamed of yourself. We love America. I love our law enforcement.
I love our law enforcement. It's rare, but I love to see it. When we come back, better examples of our better angels and some better celebrities. It's coming up. Nice to see you this morning. This is the Steve Gruber Show. You saw Emily Austin there, and I don't know who she is. She's some sports reporter, saying she loves law enforcement. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction, but Jelly Roll. If you missed it, I wanted to play this today. Jelly Roll, the former drug addict turned sober country star. He spent his time focused on Jesus. Jesus. Not politics, not ICE. Jesus. Listen to this.
And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
Yeah. I'm glad the crowd is cheering, but you already know that they stop cheering when you start talking about what the Bible actually says about justice and protecting the vulnerable from criminals, but it's still heartwarming to see a celebrity who doesn't feel the need to join in the ICE out propaganda nonsense, but delivers a message like that instead, even at a time when some of the left are trying to take Bible verses out of context daily to justify their hatred toward ICE. Nicki Minaj, another celebrity who has stepped away from the liberal Hollywood groupthink, and in a big way. Listen to what she has to say.
I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Loud and proud. She's taken to Twitter as well to share some of the opinions she shares with President Trump. She writes, quote, "What sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate on whether or not there should be voter ID? They're actually fighting not to have people present ID while voting for your leaders. Do you get it? Do you get it now?" It's common sense stuff, and people are waking up to it. Like how she's come to this conclusion, writing, "They're flying in immigrants to vote because they reneged on all the promises they made to African Americans and can no longer get the African American vote by default. Something I've been telling you here. Black voters are leaving." It's a bold claim. It's gotten her a lot of hate, as you can expect. She didn't even attend the Grammys. But the host, Trevor Noah, of course, he got his digs in as if he's relevant. Here's a bit of it.
Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here. She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. Actually, Nicki, I have the biggest ass. I have it. Everybody's saying it, Nicki. I know they say it's you, but it's me. Wop, wop, wop. Look at it. Look at it, baby. Jennifer.
I mean, please. That's not even nearly as bad as Jimmy Kimmel's latest meltdown. Jimmy Kimmel's an embarrassment to himself. His attack on Nicki, calling for shoes to be thrown at her, all because she supports her president. Oh, Jimmy.
There she is. She's right. You see her, the black woman, the only black woman in the whole room? That's her. I think Trump's looking for a Nicki Minaj à trois because she really seems to dig him. This is one of his strangest bedfellows yet. I mean, where is Cardi B with a fistful of shoes when you need her? Again, this...
Yeah, anyhow. These people are all about supporting black women on account of their race and gender. That is, until a black woman has the nerve to start thinking for herself and sharing an opinion they don't like. We were told, you're supposed to say this. Defying the narrative is a dangerous thing to do. You were told what to say. Nicki doing it proudly. And one can only hope that more follow in her footsteps instead of following the rest of the sheep in the crowd. The powerful and elite like Larry Krasner, Billie Eilish. They've decided that hate is good if it gives them more claps and cheers. Well, they won't be getting that here. Now, will they? No, they won't. All right. I want to quickly give you an update on another story here that I have been following. And that is the story of Nancy Guthrie. She is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show celebrity. And Savannah Guthrie and I don't have much in common at all. I don't get her take on certain news stories, but this is her 84-year-old mother, abducted from her Tucson area home. Happened Saturday night. She lives in the foothills of Tucson. Nice home. Nothing extraordinary, but nice. She's lived there for 50 years. She was apparently abducted from her bed on Saturday night. She was dropped off by Savannah's sister, actually. They had gone to dinner, played a couple of games, and then went on their way. She was later abducted, apparently dragged from her home, according to the evidence of the scene. She left her wallet, her phone, and more importantly, her medication. Medication, we're told, is required to keep her alive. So even though I may not have much in common with Savannah Guthrie, I do have this. It's her mom. It's an 84-year-old woman who was very clear of mind, not a dementia issue here. She didn't wander off. In fact, she couldn't. Her mobility is terrible, apparently. She couldn't go more than 50 yards, they say. So this is a grim situation. Dragged off. They're desperate for information. And I say, we're not them. We don't cheer this. They cheered the murder of Charlie Kirk. That is not us. It will never be us. So I say, my friends, say prayers for the return of Nancy Guthrie. I don't know her state, but I know it's somebody's mom who was dragged off in the middle of the night. And that's wrong. And we're better than that. So stand up and do the right thing. Say prayers for people that need it today. We'll keep you up on the story as well as we can. Because it's heartbreaking. Don't know. I know the Border Patrol is involved. There's no known connection here, but she's only about 60 miles from the border. She had a lot of people that did the upkeep on her home because she wasn't capable. It's been 3, now almost 4 days. And we will keep Nancy Guthrie in our prayers here because that's who we are. This segment proudly sponsored by PuroClean's Veterans Initiative, PuroVet, where veterans find purpose in property restoration and company ownership, entrepreneurship. We salute those who served, and you can get to the front of the line. No franchise fees and a chance to get something in return. Call 855-PuroVet or go to purovet.com. If you're a veteran or if you know somebody who is, big chance right here. 855-PuroVet, purovet.com. I'll be right back.